Hello, hello. Make sure y'all can hear me. Okay, you can hear me. Hi, welcome everyone. Hope everyone's doing good on this Sunday, this beautiful, really grossly hot Sunday. Yeah, it's really hot here today. I've been ran around a lot this morning or earlier today. Okay, afternoon is still morning to me. And it's hot, it's gross. Ugh. Everyone's signing on. Hope everyone's doing good. Give everyone a moment to join in. Yep, hot in Florida. It's always hot in Florida, even in the winter. Not too bad. Sometimes we get some pretty nice winters. Hey, Marge from Canada. Hey, Diane. Hello, everyone. But cloudy. Yeah, I wish it was a little cloudy because it's very well. I mean, we've had some rain, but it's been pretty. Yeah, it is too hot for outside. 109 in Phoenix. I should not complain. Should not complain at all. It's not that hot. I mean, I don't know let's see what the temperature is. Let's just see. Oh yeah, I shouldn't complain. It's only 93. But the thing about Florida, or at least Tallahassee sits in a depression. So it's like, and what happens is that since it's so humid here, all the humidity just comes and hangs down with us. And it's all like that all over Florida, but it just seems like it's the most humidity's right here, especially sitting on top of me at my house. It's so it makes it feel much hotter. But 110 in the shade. Yeah. Yeah, the humidity, I think, because when it's dry and hot, like when I've been out west, that's hot. That's like super hot, like hot, hot. And the humidity, I think, does kind of, I mean, it's hot, it's gross. You need showers like all day long because of the humidity sticking to you. But my hair doesn't like it if there is no humidity. So you give and you take. Okay, so enough of that. Hey, everyone. Okay, so just a little update on if you weren't able to join us the other night, which was that Friday, I announced that we have hit 3,000 members, which is super exciting to me. So we are going to do a giveaway. And all the giveaway information will be up either by tomorrow or Tuesday, one of those 2 days. And it's really cool. You will have to work for it. You do have to work for it, but that's really fun. What we decided to do was Hope Yoder generously donated 2 embroidery designs, and you will have to create something around one of those embroidery designs. Of course, you'll have to post them. I will have a special hashtag that you have to put on there. If you don't put it on there, what happens is I can't find your contest entry. I can, but when you get so many entries on your page, on your post on your page, you may skip a few. So that helps me look it up, okay, and make sure that everyone has a fair and equal chance. Now, the other thing is we have some sponsors. And what we're going to require you to do, but there's something good that goes along with that, is you have to go and like or join their group, right? Okay. Well, they're going to have a special little, so a couple of them will have a special little post on their page that says, hey, if you are a part of Forever BB Louise, comment here and you get an extra vote. So that means you can have up to, I think we're going to do, I haven't really talked to the other people about this super duper much, but I know you're going to have at least a chance to have your name put into the pot 3 times. So, who are our sponsors? Well, there's Hope Yoder, of course, and she's going to be donating some great prizes. Our new our new baby lock educator, Paige Bartlett. So excited about that. And she's going to be donating as well. She's a sponsor. 2 other sponsors that joined on, and I'm so excited about this. The one and only Sandra Shaw. So she's going to be donating some gifts. And also Evie Hawkins from A Bit of Stitch. And if you have never looked at her designs, I totally want you guys to go out there and go to her webpage, A Bit of Stitch. We love Evie around here. I've known Evie for a long time, and she is so talented. So we've got Hope, we've got Paige, we've got Xandra, and we've got Evie all sponsoring this giveaway. So it's going to be so much fun. Yay. I'm so excited. There's some beautiful gifts coming. And yeah, so make sure, so make sure to keep your eyes open and your ears open for later this week. All right, so let me just make sure there's no questions, and then we're going to get into. Hey, Melinda. All right. Okay. So, yay, that's some exciting news. I'm super excited about that. Now, okay. So about our top secret project. I just called it that because, I like suspense and just wanted to drive you guys a little crazy today. You have seen this out there. You have seen embroidery in the hoop designs of making this. Everything that we do is kind of based, off of what we see out there, right? I try to take something that I see out and about, and with our machines, with IQ Designer, you can recreate them yourself, right? You can buy the design, do it that way. Totally cool. But when we have something built in right to our machines that we can use to do it ourselves, why not? Let's try it. So we are going to, let me see. Let me just get a little pic. I'll pull the picture up first. How about that? Okay. Here we go. All right, we're going to be making in the hoop pennants. But and this picture isn't the greatest because I'm still learning a program. But what you'll notice, see the little center pieces right there? These little flowers? That's chalkboard fabric. And what that means with your pennant, which I thought was really cute, and this is not my idea, I kind of stole it, but what you can do is write whatever you want there. So you don't have, you can make these for holidays or really whatever you want, and you can put whatever you want there. Now I used a chalk pen. Oh my gosh, Gary! Hey, Gary! I know I miss you guys too. I hope you two are doing well. Sorry, everyone. I just saw a good friend of mine on here. Okay, so yeah, so you can use chalkboard fabric, which I think is really great because you can change it up. It can say love or happy holidays or really whatever you want. It's not just a pennant that just says one thing, right? So I thought that was really cute. And I'm like, well, we can do that, right? Yep. Hey, Trudy. So that's what we're going to be designing today. Let me see here. Make sure I don't kick myself off. Hey, yay. Okay. So here it is. Now, this was the first one I made and I'm not happy with. Okay. And this was, so of course I'm going to be remaking it. I don't like the size. It's a little big for me. It's the one in the picture, and I needed to tweak some things. And that's what I do. I design it and figure out what's going to work best and waste a lot of fabric because that's what I do. But, from back over here and on camera, you can't see how bad it is. But isn't it cute? And I used a chalk pen. I found that a chalk pen versus chalk works so much better. And where is it? It's right here. I got it at the dollar store for like $1, okay? And chalkboard marker. So it's just this. The only color they had was white, but I'm sure there's other brands out there that you can use. I tried regular chalk and it just doesn't show up. And the liquid form of it, I guess, which is what this is, the marker form of it, it shows up so much better. So I know it may not be exactly what you're expecting, but I've been really wanting to make one of these and figure it out. So what we see here is we have the flag shape, and you can use any shape you want. We're going to do the flag shape today. We're going to do an applique, and I did use some fills, and I created my own little buttonhole slots right there, so I can put this cutest ribbon I found at Wally World today. And so I have a background fabric, I have a backing fabric, and we'll talk about that fabric here in a minute, and then my chalkboard. Now, in the notes, in a post earlier today, I put up a little supply list. If you wanted to follow along, if you don't, I kind of understand that not everybody has chalkboard fabric just lying around, but I did get it at Joann's, where you can find it. It's some local quilting shops will have it too. So just go get some of it. It's really not that expensive and it's really fun to use. You can use it for a lot of different things. Okay, so hopefully you guys will like this one. I thought it was cute, but this fabric, let me show you this fabric. Of course, I'm using bee fabric. Look how cute. Wait, it gets better. And I have more, some more of it, but that means I have to get up out of my chair. But look how cute that is. Does anyone know whose fabric this is? It is Mila and Xandra, or Xandra, and I'm probably saying it wrong. How are they saying it? So it's Xandra Shaw's fabric. She has now opened up a new fabric shop, Mila and Z. That's how we say it. And it's got hoopfunclub.com on there, but I know there's a website and we can get that website up for you. Here's the other one. It's not the cutest. I love it. And they've got llamas. They've got like so many different choices on there. I want to order the llamas. They're so cute. Mila and Z, yes. 125 store now. Yeah, it is the dollar. Well, I went to the Family Dollar, so it's not really, so you know. Let's see. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So let me grab it again. So what do we need? Well, I had you get enough fabric to make 3 in a hoop with your largest hoop. However, I'm just gonna make 1 in one little small hoop. And I was thinking today that what I can try to do for people who do not have IQ Designer or maybe another machine brand, I can save this as a PES and put it up on the group so you can actually do it as well. I haven't done that, and I was just thinking today, why have I not done that with our other designs? And because I don't Fabric Fun Shop, thanks Cindy. I guess I never really thought of it because I know we have a lot of people in here that may not have a machine that has IQ Designer or My Design Center on here. So I'll try to remember to get this ready in a regular embroidery format. So those of you who do not have IQ Designer can make it too. So, all right, since it's not going to be personalized, what does it matter, right? Okay, so what you do need though, and when I do my in the hoop things that have to be with nothing around the edge, so like these guys, you know, something like that, I do like to use wash away stabilizer. Generally this type of stuff you're not going to wash, but it's easier to have clean edges. You can do it when you can use no-show mesh and burn it out of the hoop with a burning tool. Here's the thing on that though, you have to use a rayon thread on the outside. So if you don't have rayon thread, you have the possibility of burning the threads. And it's a really cool technique, and I've done it for years, but I try to make everything a little bit easy for everyone. So that's why to me, wash away just works really easily. So I've got wash away in my hoop all by itself. I have got a background fabric, and I've got a piece of batting. And my background fabric and my batting are wrong side together on the batting. So that's going to be my, and you could use, you know, a fusible batting if you wanted to, a fusible fleece or something like that if you want to. That's going to add some body to it and give it that quilted look when we start using our fill stitches, because y'all know I can't stay away from fill stitches. And then I've got a back fabric, a backing fabric. And then I've got about a 4x4 inch square of the chalkboard fabric. And later on, if you want to use ribbon or jute or whatever to hang your pennants, then you use whatever you want. You do you, right? Okay. And let's see what else. That's really all you need for this. It's really pretty simple. Now, there are quite a few steps in this, so this is going to take a little while. And I'll show you at the end, or, you know, when I'm done designing. I'm only going to design one, but I'm going to show you when we get, after we stitch this one out, stay tuned, because I'm going to show you how to get 3 of them in a hoop if you have the 9.5 by 14 or the 10 5/8 by 16 inch hoop, how you can stitch out more than just one at a time. That's how I did it, and it makes it go by so fast. So I'm not just stitching one out at a time in a 5 by 7 inch hoop, or wasting in a 9 inch hoop a bunch of stabilizer. So, so stay tuned after that. Okay, let me get this up. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. That means I have to unstick myself here and unchoke myself. All right, now that y'all seen enough the back of my head, I'm back. All right, so let's switch over and let's get to designing this. So hopefully you can make a little set of your own. It's really cute. It's really fun and honestly quite easy. So, and then you can save this one and you never have to design it again. Hallelujah. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so that's exactly what y'all wanted to see. So this is what happens before I come on with you guys. I actually set everything up, and then I have to turn off Zoom and turn it back on. So nothing is exactly the same each time. So I have to adjust. So I'm just adjusting if you didn't realize. Now, when you're using IQ Designer or My Design Center, I am using the Solaris again today, guys. My Meridian is not set up because I'm working on something for Baby Lock on a different machine. So that's where it's set up. So that's too bright. There we go. That's better. So, but you remember with those, with IQ Designer, it's what's it on? We know it's on the Solaris 2, the Altair Meridian, and Destiny. So that means that you can use IQ Designer to do all that I'm about to do. Your only hindrances is really just the fills that you have. And that goes the same for the Brother Like machines. All right, so y'all let me know if the screen looks bad or if you can't hear me, but I'm gonna get started. Now, if you're new to the group, what I like to use is a mouse. You can plug in your mouse to your machine and you can use that to work around everything. And this is a wired mouse. You cannot use a wireless, unfortunately. Otherwise, you can always use the stylus that came with the machine, the pen, which mine's packed away, or you can use like a stylus pen like this. I got it Gloria Horn. Everyone knows I love this thing, especially when I'm doing quilting in specific areas. It's really great. But I'm going to just use my mouse today, and let's get started. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is go to IQ Designer. From your home screen, you want to select IQ Designer, and that's still a little bright, so I feel like I'm having trouble with the lights on my camera right now, so it may be, I hope it's not going. Okay, so let me do something. Let me turn off my hoop because I want a completely clean screen. I like to work on a clean screen. Some people like to work on your grids, and you can find that in your settings up here, and you're more than welcome to turn your grids on. With the way that my brain works, if there's too much on the screen, I can't see what's happening. And have a little bit of dyslexia, so I need it to be like a clean sheet of paper, like printer paper. Okay, there we go. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to get our shape. And we're going to use the flag shape today. Now, how cute would it be to be all flowers? That would be super cute. You can choose any shape you want. But today we're just going to go with the flag shape. And to able to find that, what you have to do is you're going to look on the side of your screen, and you're going to find the button that is the circle and square. That is your shapes key. So let's go ahead and select that. And then when we look on our screen, we're going to see we have all these different fills. And it's been a while since I've kind of gone over what all of these are. I said fills, I meant shapes. So we have our basic shapes right here. And if we go up here, we have another folder, and we have some fun shapes, some different shapes to play with. The little curly Q up there, these are open, what they would consider open shapes. Some of them are closed, of course, but they're a little more elegant. And this flower, if you're new to your machine, this is something you would use if you're going to be making an outline of an embroidery design. And I have many videos on that. We've done this a lot. So I'm going to go back to the basic one, which is just the square. And I'm going to come all the way down here to the bottom row. And there is a flag. So I'm going to grab that and then say OK. And that's going to come in right to my screen right here. Now, you saw me do something. I don't want you to do this. I want you to make sure there is a red box still around your design. Don't click off like this, okay? What happens is if you click off, you have to go and select it. And selecting it's a little hard, depending on what machine you have. It's not hard. It can be done. But generally what you would have to do is draw a box around it and let it hug it. But if you have two intersecting, and don't do this, I'm just going to show you something, guys, okay? If I had let's do this circle. If I had two intersecting designs, and I wanted to move this circle up, but I click off here, I can't click on it again. It melds them together. It like welds them together. So you can always use the back button down here, and it'll take the circle off. And then you can go grab the circle again. But what you want to be careful, because what if you're deep into a project? So be mindful that that red square needs to stay on with whatever you're working with. So you can see right here, I'm moving it up. Now I'm going to get rid of this. We're not using the circle, but I just wanted to show you that. Okay, let me select my flag here. All right. Oh. Get the whole thing. There we go. So I've got my flag. It is selected. And remember, when it comes in, it's already selected. So let's click the size button. And we're going to change the size. I wanted to make it a little bit smaller. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if I want to put 3 in a hoop, it depends on what hoop or what machine you have. Because the Solaris has the 10 5/8 by 16. But the Altair, Meridian, Destiny, and those 3, they actually have a 9.5 by 14. So I'm changing the size to fit where I know I can fit 3 of them, and I did all the math already for you guys, so you don't have to worry about doing this. 3 of them in a 9.5 by 14 inch shoe. So what I came up with was we're going to change this pennant size to 4.5 by 5/8. And in order to do that, in the size screen, we're going to look for the proportionally smaller button, which is the square with the arrows, all 4 arrows going in. And all I'm going to do is press and hold until I get close. Oh, what did I say? Oh, so I've already gone too far. So if you go too far, you just use the bigger one. So my top number is going to be 5.8. And my bottom number is going to be 4.5. And every machine's different. So yours might say 4.50 by 5.82. Don't stress about that, please. It is so minute, you will never notice it. Okay, well, there we go. So, all right, done. Now, what I want to do in this instance, the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. And the reason why I'm going to save this is because I'm going to be using this shape over and over again. So I'm going to click on my memory, or you may have a little icon like this one right here that has a pocket with an arrow going inside of it. That is your save button. So I'm going to select mine, which says memory, and I'm going to select the machine right here, and it's going to save it to my machine. All right, so you can see my pennant right here. I have the correct size. And the way I'm going to show you how to do this may seem a little weird, but trust me, I cut out as many steps as possible. I don't like to have a whole bunch of steps in a design, so just bear with me and it's going to look great. All right, so the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn this line off. Right now, if I took it all the way into embroidery, it would be a zigzag stitch, and I don't want that. What I want to do is turn that line off, not to stitch out at all. Why? You'll see why in a moment. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to come up to your line properties. That is this top 4 icon grouping right up here. And I'm going to click on this little piece of paper. And then I'm going to select this icon right here. This has a zigzag with a line through it, a red line through it. So we're going to click that and say, okay. Then what I have to do, I must do this. I must select the bucket right up here at the top and then click or tap with my finger on that line, on one of the lines that are connecting to this flag. So I'm just going to tap this. And what you'll notice on your screen, and you can probably notice a little bit on mine, it got lighter and it's like just a lighter dark color. So that means it has been turned off. So I just want to use the shape. I don't want to use the stitch line. Eventually, it'll make more sense why I'm doing it. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put a pretty fill background in. So I'm going to come down here to my fill properties and this grouping of 4 icons and click on this little piece of paper. Now, it's your choice. You can either use the stipple, or if you click on this little guy, I call it the little bubble key, it's going to it's going to open up a box right here, and it has the word select. So I want you to tap select, and depending on which model you have, you will have a ton of different fills. You may not have all the ones I have, but that's okay. You got a ton of them. And I'm just going to use, I know on mine it has like a honeycomb, so I'm going to use that, or a hexie. So I'm going to grab that one. You grab whichever one you want and say okay. Now, from here on out, when I say select a color, make sure everything that we do has to have a separate color, and it'll make more sense later when we get to stitching out 3 at a time. Nothing can be the same color. So be mindful of that. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to say select a color. So I'm going to do this pink. And really, guys, when I say select a color, it's really hard to see these lighter colors. So generally I say pick a brighter, darker color. So I'm going to do this bright pink and say okay. Now it looks like probably on my screen that my flag has disappeared. I can see it. It's very, very, very faint. But what I'm going to do now is we have our fill section. I'm going to select the bucket. And then I'm going to come over here and tap in the center of my flag. And there we go. Ta-da! All right, so now we have the starting point of our flag. So at this point, what I want you to do is down here at the bottom, select the word next. If you have an Altair Meridian or a Destiny, you're not going to actually be able to see the real-time version of your stitching. It's actually going to still look like this, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. But what I want you guys to do, everybody that is not on a Solaris, right down here at the bottom, you're going to see a key that looks something like this, and it will either say on or off. That is your outline. I want you to make sure it's on. So if for some reason it says off, I want you to tap it, turn it on, and okay, or it may say set. And we're going to turn that outline on. We need that outline. With the Solaris 2, that is automatically turned off. So everybody out there with the Solaris 2, you're going to make sure that that line or that little box right there, your outline, if I open it up, it says outline, is on. It's very important. And the reason why we want that on is because, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, let me turn it off and let me tell you why it's important. Okay, can you see that nothing's connected to the edges of this design? That means what it's going to do, and it's going to take longer to stitch out because it's going to tie a knot everywhere right here. If we turn our outline on, it's one smooth motion. It doesn't stop to tie off in each one of those areas. So that's why, for this reason, I like to have it on. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, the other thing that you can do, and again, if you're on the Altair Meridian or Destiny, you're not going to really be able to tell just yet, but you can come up here to where it says, or yours is probably down here, excuse me, but you're going to look for this box where it says 100%. This is the size. You can make your fill stitching or your fills a lot larger, smaller. So, and what I mean by that, if I go up to 200% here and say, okay, you're going to see that, look how big those are. So I'm going to take this down to about 125 because I know this is small. So I want to make sure that it's going to look good. That's perfect for me. And enable for you, those of you who have the Altair Meridian or Destiny, to see what it's actually going to look like. You're going to notice that it doesn't change. You have a button down here that says preview, and you're going to go preview okay, and it'll show you an image like mine. If you're happy with that, hang on. If you're not happy with it, you're going to hit the return button, go back and change, and then do the preview okay again until you get it the way you like it. So hopefully that's made a little bit of sense there. Now, if you're happy with it, you can hit set okay if you're on a Solaris. If you are happy with it, or if you already hit preview okay on your Altair Meridian or Destiny, then you can hit set okay after that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select set okay. And what it does is it brings it over into my embroidery side of my machine. So now we're in the embroidery side. So now we've got to start building. This is our base, and we're going to start building outwards. And in order to do that, we want to use the word add down here at the bottom. And just because I designed this, I know what order it's going to go into, and it will make sense. So the next thing we're going to do is select IQ Designer. And yours may say IQ Designer on the side here or My Design Center. So I'm going to tap IQ Designer. And I'm going to recall that first shape that we made of the flag. So in order to do that, you're going to look on your machine for the key that has the pocket with the arrow going outside of it. Let's tap on that. Oh, well. That was a little rough. Okay. And here it is right here. It's always going to be the very first one. So you ignore everything over here. It's always going to be the very first one to the left. So I'm going to tap on it and hit OK. Make sure. It still looks so bright. Maybe how does it look on Facebook? Let's see here. I'm sorry, guys. I think something's going on with my camera because it just doesn't look healthy. That's okay. Okay. All right. So here it is again. And I'm just going to make it to where you can see it really good. I'll actually zoom in so it's better for you. There we go. That's better. Okay. So here is my flag. And I'm going to do what I asked you guys to do earlier is we're going to turn this line off again. We need this here, and we need it here for a visual. So I'm going to come back up to my line properties up here and select the piece of paper. I'm going to select no show and say okay. I'm going to make sure my bucket is turned on, and I'm going to tap the line. So again, it's asleep, it's not going to stitch out. But I'm going to go back and go out to 100%. This is where we're going to create our applique for our chalkboard fabric. So what we want to do next is go to your shapes, and you can select any shape you want. I used a little flower. I thought it was cute. I could go up to my other fun shapes here. I could use the teddy bear. I could use the heart. I could use the bunny. I could use this pretty little designs up here. I can use whatever I want. I could use this flower. It's totally up to you. But I'm going to go back to my closed shapes, and I'm going to select this flower right here. And once I tap on it, it'll turn blue, and then I'll select OK. And when it comes in, you're going to notice it's really big. So we need to make it a lot smaller. And did I get them right? Oh, well, no, I didn't. For this one, it's going to be around maybe between 2.5 and 3 inches. So what we want to do, making sure that red box is still around our flower, we're going to click the word size. And then we're going to come up here to our unproportional button, which is a square with the arrows going inside. And I'm just going to press and hold until I'm going to look at it as I'm going down, and I'm just going to pick a random size. It doesn't have to be anything like perfect. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be like 2.5 by 3 or whatever. So what I ended up with, because this size looks good to me, is a 2.65 by 2.72. Now what I have on, when you click the size key, you actually have move buttons, and you want to use these. These work great. So I'm going to I can see in the background my flag. I'm going to take and move up my little flower just a little bit. And let me show you how much. Let's see. I wanted mine to be a little closer to the bottom. I don't know why. You can completely center it if you want to. That is fine. I just thought it was kind of cute. And you can see I just have a little bit of room in between. Now you definitely want, if you're looking at it in the zoomed version, that almost looks like a 1/2 inch to me. So I'm going to zoom out and just take a look at it. And to me, that looks fine. If I wanted to move it over a little bit or anything like that, remember, you have to select the size key. Now, can I pick this up and move it with my finger or my mouse? Absolutely. I'm just not that good at placement when it comes to that, but you are more than welcome to use that. All right, I'm going to zoom in again so you can see. If I click off of it, because I'm happy with it, you'll be able to see it much better. So you can see my flag, you can see my flowers. Now, my flower. Now, remember we turned off the outline of the flag and we were just using that as a guide box where to put this flower, our applique. And this applique is only going to have 2 steps. Normally with an applique, you have 3 steps, right? You have a placement line, you have a tack down line, and then you have a finishing stitch. With mine, I only did 2. I'm going to have a placement line and a finishing stitch. And it's up to you how you want to do this. So I have to tell that flower what I need it to be. So I'm going to come over to my line properties and select the little piece of paper. And the first one that I'm going to select is a running stitch, which is just this little guy right here. And I'm going to select a different color than I chose previously. So remember, I chose that pink. I'm going to choose this purple right next to it. And I'm going to say, okay. I'm going to turn on the bucket and then I'm going to tap my flower. And even it's hard for me to see that it turned purple, but it did turn a dark purple. Okay. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to save this guy into memory. You do want to do this right now. It's just very helpful. So either use your memory key or the pocket with the arrow going inside of it and save it to the machine. Now that that's done, I'm going to select next. And what you'll notice is that this frame won't be there because I told it not to be. You're just going to see the flower. Hey, Cindy, no worries. Now what I'm going to do is select set, okay. Or if you're on the Altair Meridian of Destiny, you're going to hit preview, okay, set, okay. And it's going to sit exactly where I told it earlier to sit. So that's my placement line. I now need to make my tack down / finishing stitch because I just did a triple stitch around. So I'm going to go back to add. This is going to be so simple. Let's go to IQ Designer. We're then going to recall that design we just saved. And we're going to find that in the pocket with the arrow going outside of it. I'm going to click on that. And my machine's slow, so I think I need to delete a lot of the stuff that's in here. I'm going to select the one with the flowers. So I have my 2 that I'll be using today. I'll be using the first one we saved right here, and then the one with the flower. So I'm going to click the flower and say, okay. But this time, let's zoom in so you can see it. This time, I'm actually going to make sure that this line is off again. So I do not want to use the pennant line again. So I'm going to go to my little piece of paper up there, select the no sew, turn on my bucket, and make sure it's not going to do it. And how you know it's not going to stitch out, when I tap this, it knocks at me and it says, hey, that means that this line's not going to stitch, or it means you've already changed that line to the same stitch. But my flower, I want to change to something different than what we saved it before, which was a running stitch. I want to do a triple stitch. Super easy. We're going to go back up to our line properties right here. We're going to select the little piece of paper. And this little guy right here, let me point it out right. I've got my little friend here. This is so cute. I love these. These are the Baby Lock. It's a pen, a stylus, and his cute little hair cleans your screen. I love it. Okay, so right here is a triple stitch. Now it's up to you, whatever you select. I don't care what you select. This is your baby. So I'm going to select my triple stitch. But guess what? I'm going to select a separate, different color. So I know I've used the pink and the purple. Now I'm going to use this blue here. And there is a method to my madness why I'm doing this. I promise you. So I'm going to select OK. And then I'm going to select this little piece of paper right here. Oh, I already did that. Excuse me. I'm going to make sure my bucket is on, which it is. You see how it's highlighted blue. And I'm going to take my finger and tap the flower, just the flower. Okay, I'm done with that. I don't need to save it because I've already got it saved in a version of itself. So now I'm going to select next. And if I'm in the Altair Meridian or Destiny, I'm going to hit preview OK, set OK, and the rest of us are just going to select set OK. And that's going to sit directly on top of the first one. Now we're getting close, guys. We're getting there. It really, if you've got it down, it really does go by fast, but we're going to save this one so you don't have to design it again, ever, unless you just want to change, different things, aspects about it. The reason why you would want to change it is because of your background or the shape of your applicant. All right, so now what we need to do, let me grab this, and it's not going to look great on this camera, but what we need to do is make the little inserts for your ribbon. Okay, so we're going to go to IQ Designer for that. So let's go back to Add, IQ Designer. And we are going to, again, recall that flower design. So I'm going to select the key that has the pocket with the arrow heading outside of it. And I'm going to use this one again. And the reason why I'm using this one is strictly for visuals. So I'm going to say, okay. And I'm going to zoom. Well, actually, I'm going to wait to zoom in. Because the first thing that I want to do is I want to turn everything off. I don't want anything to stitch again. I just need it for a visual. So I'm going to go to my line properties. I'm going to do no sew again. Say okay. Make sure your bucket's on and tap the outside and then tap the flower. I'm only going to be using this for visuals. At this point, this is up to you. Oops, let me go out of here. At this point, this is up to you. You can come up here to, if you have a blank page, you can always come up here to your settings and turn on your grid. And this is what it'll look like. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it, because I will use the grid at this point. And I use the 1-inch grid, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to leave it on only for this purpose that I'm about to do. Okay, I am going to create those little, I call them the buttonholes. I'm going to come to my shapes key right here. And I'm going to use my rectangle. That's what I call that because it is a rectangle with oval edges. So I'm going to use my rectangle and say okay. And he's going to come in really big. And it's going to be hard for you to see this on my screen until I get a close-up. But you will see it on your screen. And what you're going to do is that is selected with the red box. So we're going to click size. And this is what you're going to do. First, you're going to take the proportionally smaller button right here. And we're going to hold it down until the bottom number is 0.95. So I'm going to hold that down. Oops, I made it a, So my bottom number right here is 0.95. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go directly below that. Directly below that, and you're going to see a rectangle with 2 arrows going one in and one out, or one, excuse me, both of them going inwards. And we're going to go down until we get to 0.15. So you can see right here, the top number says 0.15, the bottom number says 0.95. Super teeny tiny. And you can probably barely see, I'm going to zoom in now. You can barely see on my screen in a red box that there it is right there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here to rotate. Now, if nothing's highlighted, if you can't click on your size or rotate, that means that you've unselected this guy. And if I unselect, and let me turn this background off just so you can see it better. If you Yours only goes to 0.39. Oh, Kathy, that may because maybe, and it should be fine. It's just going to be a little bit of a bigger opening. It's okay. And that's, you either have the Altair Meridian, right? So Altair Meridians, you may only be able to go to 0.39. And that's actually going to be fine. Don't worry. Don't stress it. Okay. Let's say, let me go back. I accidentally clicked off. And here is my little guy here. I cannot click anything to move it, to change it. Okay. So what you have to do, and you have to be very, very careful if you're on an Altair Meridian or Destiny, what you're going to look for is this little guy right here. Okay. He is a square with a bunch of dashed lines, not the one with 2 squares, the one with 1 square. And you're going to make sure he's highlighted blue, and you're going to come really close to it, and you're going to draw a box around it, and it will capture it. But if this thing is if it's too close to one of these guys, that once you draw your box and you catch everything else, I want you to watch what happens. Can you see that it took part of my flower with it? That's why we want to be mindful of where our red box is. Hey, Jason Vaughn, I see you watching. Everyone say hey to Jason. All right. If you're on the Solaris, we have a cool little tool, okay? See this little magic wand right here? If I click on that and tap that, it automatically selects just that image or just that little guy, or you know what I mean. It's pretty cool. But I digress, so let's go back. So that is selected. What we're going to do is select the word rotate, and we're just going to click, doesn't matter which 90 degrees you use, just click the 90 degrees one time. And now it's going to be straight up and down. And now I'm going to go back and turn on my grid so you guys can see it. You're so sweet. Okay. Now, what I can see on my screen, and I'm not sure, you can barely see on my screen, but I have the outside edges of my box or my flag, and then I have this little, let's see if we can get in a little quick, you can see. So this is my grid line right here. This is the outside of my flag. What I want to do, I'm going to zoom out, is I'm going to take this guy, and I can pick him up if I want to. Oops, I got to unhand myself. And I can take him and move him where he's just right beside that line, or you can just visually center him wherever you want. And I'm not going to be up here or up too high. I'm thinking that if you visually can see a 1/4 inch from this side and the top from the side of your flag, you're doing pretty good. After I have that in place in the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to turn this thing off because I don't think it shows up really well for you guys. Okay. So let's take a look, and now you can see this right here. And I'm just going to grab them again. There we go. And let me get it back centered for you all to see better. There we go. All right, there he is. There's my little buttonhole. And now what I'm going to do is select this key right here. Now he has to have the red box around him. This key right here, which is the duplicate key. And so you have a solid box and a dashed line box. So if I tap that, it's going to pop another one off to the side here. But look, it's not in the same spot, right? Or it's not like even. So what I do is I go to my size key, use my move keys to move him up to visually get him about the same lined up. And then I can move him all the way over to the other side. And I'm visually going to give myself about a 1/4 inch around it. So, and that's a visual, of course. So to me, that looks good. There's enough room over there. I do not want him over here. I want him in a little bit. Maybe I can come down and over a hair. And there we go. And I'm going to say, okay. Now what I have, if I click off, is, you can probably see it a lot better now, is I have my flag, my flower, and these two little guys right here. But I am only using this flower and this flag as a visual. So I do not want it to stitch out. I know it's crazy. Method to my madness, I promise. All right, but we're going to go to our line properties because we want those little buttonholes to be like satin stitches, just like a regular buttonhole. So I'm going to click on the satin stitch icon, and guess what I'm going to do? Choose a different color. So we've already done pink, we've done purple, I've done this blue. Now I'm going to come over here to this green and say, okay. I'm going to make sure my bucket's on, and I'm going to tap each of my buttonholes. I'm going to tap that one, it turned green, and tap that one, it turned green. I'm now going to select my next button. And if you want, you can save this. And basically, that's just a security. We're not going to use the buttonholes again. We're only going to stitch them out once. But if you feel, there's people I know that save every step of the way, and that is totally cool. That is perfect. Do it if you want to. I'm just going to skip that and say next. And what should show up is only my buttonholes. There they are. There are my little baby buttonholes right there. Perfect. I'm not going to change everything. Everything's perfect right here. I've tested that out. It's a great size, great density. I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm now going to hit set OK, or if you're Altair, Meridian, or Destiny, or the Brother Like machines, you're going to hit preview OK, set OK. There we go. There they are, right where I want them to be. All right, we only have 2 more steps and we're done. So we're going to go to Add. We're going to go to IQ Designer. And we're going to go back to our recall button. Again, that is the pocket with the arrow heading outwards. And I'm going to select my very first design. So that's this guy right here. That is just the flag itself. So I'm going to select him and say OK. Now I need to tell him what to be, and I just want him to be a straight stitch because this is going to be the stitch that attaches my backing fabric to my flag. So I'm going to come up here. Oh, so I'm sorry, I went pretty fast. I'm going to come up to my line properties and select the little piece of paper, and I'm just going to select the running stitch. And guess what? We're going to select a color. So we've done pink, purple, this blue, this green. I think I'm going to come around to this orange and say, okay, I am going to select my bucket and tap on my flag. Now I'm going to select next. Not going to change a thing. If you're Altair, Meridian, Destiny, or Brother Like, you're going to select preview OK, set OK. And if you're on a Solaris, let's just select set OK. And there we go. It's sitting right on top. So on the Solaris, I can see all the steps. So this is the first one I designed, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. We have one more. We're going to go to Add, IQ Designer. And we're going to go recall that last design again. So look for the pocket with the arrow going outside of it. Click it. Sounds like it's raining. I don't know if it is. Maybe my computer. Okay. So we're going to select this little guy again and say OK. This is going to be our final stitch. And our final stitch is this satin stitch encasing here. I'm going to call it that. I'm going to call it what I want. So we want to go up to our line properties right up here. Little piece of paper. Now make sure right here that if it's not highlighted in blue, or I think the Destiny may be gold or like a gold color. I should say that. The little zigzag, not the zigzag with the line through it, but the zigzag is selected. And we're going to select a color. So we've done a bunch of colors on this row. Let's go up one and let's do this lighter blue. I'm going to do this lighter blue color. And select OK. And now I'm going to make sure my bucket's on and I'm going to tap my flag. And that's all I do from here. And I'm going to select next and watch what happens. Let's zoom in a little bit. So now I have a satin stitch. But when you're encasing, ouch, oops, that has a pin in it. When you're trying to do something freestanding like this, and you need it to capture the ends of fabric, you need it to be wide. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the width and the density of our zigzag stitch. And in order to do that, you're going to see a key that has a zigzag with a little, two little arrows beside it right here. And it may say 0.80. If you are on the units of measure, the inches unit of measure, it's going to say 0.80. And here, if you do yours by millimeters, it's going to say 2.0. I like mine at inches for only when I'm doing embroidery. It just makes more sense to my brain. Okay, so I'm going to change this to 0.016. So you're going to see mine change. If you're on Altair, Meridian, or Destiny, you're not going to see much of a change until you go to preview. But okay, so it got wider. Perfect. Now what I want to do is I want to come to my density, and you'll see that just with like a little zigzag. And this is 100%. If we tap that, we can change it up to 110. That's as far as we can go. So we're going to do that just to make it a little thicker. And there we go. And that's all you're going to do with that. So now we're going to now we're done with this piece. So if you're Altair, Meridian, or Destiny, then we are going to select preview OK, set OK, and the rest of us are just going to select set OK. And look, everything fell in together. Now, okay, so at this point, this is what I want you all to do. Because if you want to put them in like multiple in a very large hoop, you have to follow these steps right here. This is very important. So you're going to look on your screen and you're going to look for a little box right here that has a circle, a square, and a triangle, and maybe some red boxes around it. What I want you to do is select that box, and you're going to come up with this weird looking screen here. And you're going to see this little box right here that has that circle, square, and triangle, but with pink boxes around. So I want you to tap that. And then I want you to select OK at the bottom. And there's one more step. We need to go back to edit. And you're going to see this guy right here, highlight up. A lot of things I can't do anymore, but we're done with it. We don't need to change anything or add anything to it. But we do need to select this button. This is your grouping button. It's going to group everything together. And a little bit later, I'm going to explain why that's important. So right here, we're going to tap that. So it's a square and a circle with a red box. I'm going to tap that, and then I'm going to select edit. And now what happens is if I didn't do that at this point, and I wanted to move this up here, it would move piece by piece. Now it'll move as one unit, which is fantastic. I'm going to go to edit, move, and put it back in the center though. Okay. Now again, I'm just going to stitch one out for you guys. When this is done stitching, I'm going to go and show you how to put multiple in a hoop and how to color sort. That means that it'll stitch out the honeycombs all in a row, the flowers all in a row. It won't stitch out one flag at a time, it'll stitch them out all together. That's why we did multiple colors. Yay, I'm so smart. Not really, but you know, that's what makes it work. And that's what makes our machine so special too. We have all these options. I love it. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to stitch it out. And then we'll go back and show you how to, but before I move on, after I've grouped everything together, I need to save it to my machine. So if you have memory, select memory save right now at this point, because if you get out of here, it's gone. You have to design it again. Okay. If you have the little pocket with the arrow going inside of it, save it. Save it, save it, save it, save it, save it, save it, save it. All right, here we go. I am going to change my thread. So I have my dark threads on right now. That's for the end part of it. But I have got my light threads here that I'm going to quickly put into my machine. I'm going to put my white bobbin in and my awesome white thread. And now the threads that I am using, where is my white thread? Oh, really? This is not fair. I've totally lost my thread. Well, what I'm supposed to be using today is my embellish matte threads. Now these are threads that are, they're polyester, but they're made to look like cotton. And there it is, there it is, there it is. And so when I get this under the light, you're going to see this looks just like cotton. It doesn't look like a shiny embroidery thread. It's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to take my camera and move it over to the sewing part of my machine, or I'm sorry, to the bed of my machine. I have to tape it down so I don't knock it out of place. All right, here we go. Now, I think I tell you guys this every time. Now, you do want a 90 needle in this because we are going to be using the chalkboard fabric, and we want a little bit of stronger needle for that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just slide my hoop on. I'm going to select the word embroidery first, actually. I'm going to slide my hoop on. And what I'm going to do, even if you're doing 3 in a row, is I'm going to go ahead and take, remember I tell you, I cut out a lot of steps for you. I am going to take my fabric that has the batting underneath it and just lay it on top of the hoop. Okay? No hooping, no nothing. I'm going to actually go ahead and put the thread on my machine because we have to have thread. Details, ladies and gents. And I'm going to thread the machine. And again, this is the Embellish matte threads, and you can find this at an Embellish dealer. It's really cool stuff. All right, so the first thing that it's going to stitch out is that honeycomb motif. Now mine is, I am using white, so you may not be able to see it too well. This is only going to take about 10 minutes to stitch out, but at least you'll get the gist of it. Now, what I was talking about earlier about the outline being on there, if we did not have the outline, where it stops at the edge here, it would stop and tie off. Stop and tie off. It is quite annoying. You can see it a little bit there. Terry, you should have color sort. I'm going to show you on mine what it looks like. So you should have that button. I think a lot of the baby locks have that button. All right. Okay, so that's done. Now the next stitch is going to be the outline for the placement. And I'm not going to change my thread. It's going to be white, so you won't be able to see it that well. But it's going to be the placement for my flower. So I'm just going to let that start. I have my chalkboard little square ready. And you can make these as big as you want, as small as you want. That's really up to you guys. I just think the small ones will be super cute. Now, when we do a running stitch, it always goes around twice. You can't change it, but you can stop it after it goes one time around it. So you can barely see it on the screen, but just know it's there. And I'm going to place this on top. You can tape it down. That's not a great piece. But I also have my Hoop Fun Club by Zandra Shaw, my mermaid wand, and I'm just going to hold it in place. So this is going to be the triple stitch. This way I can smooth it out too a little bit, you know, like this. Just be careful. Love this tool. Now, as that's coming around, I am going to move because it's pretty much tacked down already. Doesn't that look cute on the black? It looks like chalkboard. Just love this. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim on the outside. Now I can get really close to the thread, or I can leave about 1/8 of an inch around. That's really up to you. I'm going to probably do a mix of both because this stuff is kind of a little bit harder to cut. Thanks, Cindy. And yes, I know I'm using these backwards. And I'm going to just leave a little bit around the edges. And again, it's a little bit thicker to cut. So if you, there we go. Just get you a good pair of applique shears. These are, I use the Quilter Select ones. These are my favorite because they're pointy on both sides, even on the duckbill. I hated duckbills for the longest time until I started to use this one. And I'm like, okay, I am a fan, a huge fan. I have 2 pairs because 1 pair is not enough. It's never enough. You need at least 2 of everything. I'm getting better at this. Cut out 6 earlier. And last night and today. There we go. Oh, that's looking cute. I like the 1/8 of an inch or whatever I'm leaving around the edge. Like that. That's precious. Oops. Getting caught up here. Let's just, I'm sorry, guys. Let's just check. Making sure there weren't any questions. I hate to have big chunks of fabric that I'm holding on to. Okay, so this part is done. Oh my gosh, that is cute. Okay, love it. Okay, so I'm going to slip it. Actually, I'm not going to slip it back on. At this point, it's going to stitch out my 2 little buttonholes. So I want that to go all the way through the back fabric. So I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to tape my black fabric or my back fabric on. I'm going to make sure it's going the right way. We can see a bee on there. And so I will tape that on. And here's a little trick with tape. What you want to do is you don't want to have ugly edges like this. And there's a reason why. because ugly edges like that will start to peel up when this is on the underneath. So I'm going to cut. You don't see what scissors I'm using. You ignore that. And I'm going to take it, and then there we go. Well, this hoop's so small I can wrap it around the edges, which I like. That's really what I would love. I love to be able to do, because that way they don't get all, caught up. Just take this. Make sure it is down. So I like to get, press. If you're in the middle of the hoop, what you can always do is flip your hoop back over and then press down where the tape is. All right. So I'm going to slip that back on. And I always like to make sure, you can even take your mermaid one and make sure everything's laying right. Looks good. And now it's going to stitch out. Got to close it. I was like, why is it not working? All right, now it's going to stitch out our little buttonholes. Now, if you didn't want to do buttonholes, you could do little circles and put little eyelets in it. If you're going to do something thinner like jute or anything like that, you can really, be creative. Have fun. Cutting is very important. It is. All right, so now we have these little guys here. So the next stitch is we're going to leave everything as is right now. And the next stitch is the outline stitch is going to tack the backing to the front. Now here's an idea I just thought of. If you didn't want to do the satin stitch, you could just, when this stitch is done, take it off, use a pair of pinking shears or pinking blade, and just pink it around the edges. That would be really cute too. And remember, the running stitch goes around twice, which is actually helpful for our next step of trimming. We get that extra thread in there that's going to protect us from cutting too close. Because I had some accidents earlier because I didn't use the stitch because, details. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the hoop, not the design from the hoop. We're going to remove the hoop. And we're going to trim everything on the outside of those lines. And yes, I'm doing it backwards. It's just because of the way I'm sitting. Or have this turned. So I'm going to get as close as I can to that line. And I pull the fabric tight and get under there. I am not afraid of it. So you can see I have no batting, poking, or anything. The other thing is you want to be very careful not to cut the stabilizer. So when you're going in, you don't want to go in under. You want to kind of lift up, make sure that you're only grabbing the fabric. Yes, thanks, Cindy, for getting all that up for us. Cindy's so awesome, y'all. Just don't even know. Okay, so I'm getting really close. Doing good. Almost done on the top part, and then we're going to flip it over and do it on the back as well. There we go. And if you see little spots like right here, I'm going to get up under there and get those little guys too. Good. Now I'm going to flip it to the back. Now, depending on what tape you're using, this is the R&K Embroidery Perfection tape. Some of it you can reuse, so I just kind of hang on to it, see if I can reuse it. Some of the other tapes you can't. It just depends. The blue painter's tape you really can't reuse very often, just because it doesn't have as much sticky. All right, now I'm using it the right way. Here we go. Get that peppered off. Now I'm going it the backwards way. And then, ooh, 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 ooh. Guess what I did? I poked the stabilizer. Once I feel that, I stop immediately. I have a baby hole there. Stop immediately. Take your scissors out. Now I'm just going to do the V part. Always checking. Here, a little bit. Love this fabric. So pretty. Like, you know, with the bees, you see them done with all different colors. Of course, we've got the beautiful orange, yellows and a little bit of orange and the black, but she put the teal with it. I'm like, dang, that's awesome. All right, so me personally, I'm just going to change my bottom thread to a black bobbin thread. This is a black bobbin thread that Bottom Line made. I'm going to, I think that's a, is that, who was that? That design. And then put my black just for the outside edges, embellish matte thread on top. Now on this part, if you didn't have matching bobbin thread, could you use regular embroidery thread? You can. I wouldn't do the whole embroidery with it, but it does work well for, you know, edges and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to slide this back on, and now we're just going to do the final outside. Now here's the thing with doing light fabric and really dark or like black threads. I mean, yeah, black threads. You can see a little bit of my light fabric poking through. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Sharpie it. When it's done, I'm going to grab a Sharpie and I'm just going to go along those edges. And now I would want to do that after all of the stabilizers off, because we're going to lightly dampen the edges to dissolve away the stabilizer. So I would not do the Sharpie until this is completely dry. Boy, that's looking cute now. Oh, great, Trudy. Yeah, you do have built-in buttonholes on the embroidery side of your machine, but they were a little too big for what I wanted to do. They were a little too long. So I really wanted to use those to show you guys that you could. I'm gonna stop this real quick because I have a little bit of something going on right here. I don't know if I can get to it back here, but you know, so you can design your own. Yeah, of course not. Why not? I mean, you can do whatever you want. These machines are amazing, aren't they? I hope I got enough of that, but we'll see. Sorry, I'm fighting with my scissors. We're almost done. We're getting close. This is the longest part of the whole design. Ooh, this one looks so much better than the one that I made before, the whole thing that I made before. Because, you know, when I'm designing stuff, you have to practice stitching and you have to get it right. And look, sometimes it ain't right. Good, Terry. I know it's really cute. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I'm going to toot it. Okay. We are done. Okay, I was just making sure y'all can hear me still. Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to pop this out. Now, what I would do from here is I would trim really close to here and leave a little bit of a flange of the stabilizer because you don't want to cut so close that you actually cut the stitches. So you want to cut, maybe leaving a little bit about 1/8 around. Bring it out. Use a Q-tip and some water and just go around the edges. And eventually what happens is this will melt away. Whatever's left will melt away. Then, however you punch your buttonholes, you can use a seam ripper. I have a little buttonhole punch that I like to use. You can do that. But watch this. There we go. See? And you can just draw right on them. I love it. It's so cool. And then when I'm done with that, I think you just take a damp cloth, wipe it away, and there we go. So isn't that adorable? I think it's really cute. I think it's going to be really cute. And I actually like this size a lot better than I like the first ones I made. It looks a lot better. So let's talk about how we can put multiple in a hoop. So I'm going to bring this back over here so we can see my screen. I'm just going to hit return. And let's say I'm going to go home. Now, did I save this? I don't remember if I saved this. So I'm going to save it. And I'm going to go home. And it's important you save it after you group it. I'm going to go to embroidery. And let's say I'm coming back to do this another day. I'm going to come here to wherever your designs are saved. So on this Lars, it's a little pocket. It may be a pocket with an arrow going out of it or something like that. Or you may just see the little machine symbol. So it's this one right here. So the last one you save is always going to be top left. So I'm going to tap it and hit set. Now, if you are on this helped me a lot. If you're on your, actually, I don't think that really matters. Let me see something. Nope, that doesn't really matter. Okay. But I'm going to do it on a 9x14 inch. So I can go in here and tell it in my settings what hoop I'm going to use. And it'll put an outline down. I think you guys can barely see that. And what I want to do, if I was using this, I can go to edit, rotate, going to rotate it all together and take and move this all the way up until about there. So I'm going right to the top of that line. Then what I'm going to do is select add. I'm going to go grab the same design, select set, and I'm going to rotate it, but I'm going to rotate it the other way. I don't think it really matters, and you do want to have a little bit in between them. Okay. That's for cutting. Okay. So I'm going to say, okay, you have to have stuff. They cannot be touching. And the reason why they cannot be touching is because you have to have room to trim. Then I'm going to add again. Go to set. And I'm going to rotate the other way. It doesn't matter really with this one. And I'm going to bring it down. Making sure there's a little gap in between them. And your machine will let you know if you're outside the line. And since I'm just using the 9x14 just to kind of show you frame area, it's really not going to let me know unless I have that hoop on. But let's say I got it just right. Okay, so there we go. Now, here's the fun part. This is important. So now I'm going to go to embroidery and I'm going to go to layout. Okay, if we were to look at this right now, we've got, remember we did all those different colors. This is why it's important that we did all these different colors. If it were to stitch out right now, what we would have first is it would stitch out this guy first. This whole entire one first. It would go through all the colors and stitch them out. But wouldn't it be easier if you could stitch out all the honeycombs at once, all the flowers at once, all the buttonholes, all that? Easy. We're going to go to layout. And when you look on your screen, you're going to find a button that has 3 little spools. So you want to click on that. And I just click out of layout so I can see. But now look at my 3 pinks are together. And this is why it's important that you do not use the same color for different aspects. Because if the flowers were pink, it would, or I'm sorry, if the, let's say zigzag was pink, it would put even the zigzag together with this same pink. And you would have a nightmare on your hands. okay, it would be out of order. But let's take a look at this. I'm just going to go to the plus minus. So if I look at this, color 1 is going to be this one. Color 2 will be this honeycomb. Color 3 will be the bottom honeycomb. Color 4 will be the purple flower. Color 5 will be this purple flower. Color 6 will be that purple flower. Color 7 will be that triple stitch flower. The next one will be the triple stitch flower. The next one will be the triple stitch flower down here. Okay. Then we've got our buttonholes. Then color 11 will be our buttonholes here. Color 12 will be our buttonholes here. Color 13 is going to be our tack down of our background fabric for the next 3. Then our last one. Color 16 will be this zigzag. Color 17 will be this zigzag. Color 18 will be this zigzag. It works so much better if everything's grouped, or if it does the groups like that. And again, what I did was I went in the embroidery screen, I went to layout, and let me get it back to 0 here. I went to layout and I selected the 3 spool button. Now there's one right next to it that I think a lot of people get confused with, and it took me a long time to break them up too. So if I were to tap this one, let's tap this one, what happens is it stitches everything out all at once, all in the same color, takes no breaks. We don't want that. What we want, we're going to turn that off, and we want the color sort. And there we go. You can see they're color sorted by colors here. That's why I made you do every single thing in a different color. It makes life so much easier. Okay, well, let's turn around here. And you get to see my face again. Yay. Okay, so isn't that cute? I thought that was cute. I'm excited about it. This one looks so much better than the first couple I did. So look how pretty that fabric is. Oh my gosh. So this is going to be adorable. And it's a little bit smaller. I don't like how big those are. So yeah, so hopefully you learned a little bit of something today. And if you make it, post it, please. Because I like what y'all, I love to see what y'all post. Thank you. Thank you. I'm checking all your messages. Thank you. Yeah, I'm here to help you learn your machine. And the more you touch the buttons, the more you're going to learn, right? And that's what we're here for, to learn how to use our machines. And yeah, so I will try to remember to get this up as a PES. And if you do not have a machine that takes PES, you can take it to someone who maybe has some design software, and they can switch it over to a different, whatever you have, the Viking or whatever, you can have them switch it over to that. But yeah, and in this one, also, if you don't have a large hoop like I did, if you have a 5x7 hoop or a 6x10 or whatever, whichever machine you may have, if I put it up there, you'll be able to make this too. So, yay. Well, I do thank you all for coming, and wait for the update this week, and we will put up all that fun giveaway information. So thank you, Kathy. Yep, we're doing good. So Jason and I are hanging in there. So let's see. Would you just run a ribbon through? Oh, yes. Let me show you on this one. Thank you for saying that. Yep. So what I did, this is the bad one, but it worked. So what I did, and I'm going to cut this ribbon because I'm going to throw this ugly one away anyways. Okay. Great question. All right. So I punched the holes, and you can see how bad that is. Look how bad it is. Ugh. This is what I was talking about. If the satin stitch isn't wide enough to go around the edges of it, you see what happens? It doesn't catch the fabric. Okay, so I punched the holes, and I like to do it from the back side. So you're going to come in towards the front. And how wide is this one? This is 5/8 inch, just so you know. And I got that at Walmart. And I pull it through, but you could pull it through the front side too, because that would look really cute. Either way you do it. And then just pull it through. You can use jute, you can use ribbon, you can use really pretty like yarn, whatever you want. So yeah, that's all you have to do. Super easy. Now I need to salvage this. Well, I mean, salvage the ribbon. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining on today. Of course, you can always, always rewatch this at any time. If you have any questions, just let me know. I hope everyone's doing, I'm getting rid of them as we talk. Hope everyone has a great week, and wait for all the info coming up next week about the giveaway. And make sure to, if you haven't already, but you're going to have a chance to, because I'll make sure I have all the links. If you have not joined the Designs by Hope Yoder fan group, Paige Bartlett's group, and I'm sorry I'm blanking out on the name of it, Melinda Bigley's So Blessed, make sure to join that. Also Xandra Shaw's is it still Sew My Souls? Just look up Xandra Shaw. And also A Bit of Stitch. And A Bit of Stitch, she does a lot of stuff on Instagram. So definitely go over on Instagram and join her page there. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining me. And I'll see you all next week. Y'all have a great week. And I'm going to try to go to bed early because I got to get up early because now I have real responsibilities at work. I mean, I had responsibilities at the last job, but this is like exhausting. All right, y'all have a good one, and I will see you next week.